You're listening to Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net and cbgtv.com. I'm Al Graham, and say hello to my hard-working joint host, Tamara Cartwright.
Tamara, how you doing tonight? I'm good. How are you doing, Al?
I'm doing good. I see we're both outside tonight.
It's a steaming 35 degrees here, man. And it's hotter in the house. So pack everything up and move my ass out here because it was cooler out here. Got the mister going, and I don't know, like it's just so hot in the house. And
yeah, well, looks like you're dressed for the weather as well. You got the mister. You've got
I've got my mister going, and I'm like a fan going, but I turned it off for the show first. But I've been sitting out here enjoying. Well, it's not sunny because we got snow, but it's like it's hot. So I'm just trying to kind of stay cool. Oh yeah, we've got fires burning all around us too. So it's 35 degrees.
Well, it's not going to be that warm here, but at least it's not minus 35.
Well, that's what I keep saying. We're going to have snow in 6 weeks, so I'm not bitching.
Yeah.
So
why don't you, before we bring our guest in, just so you know, give everybody a bit of an idea of our guest patient. We're going to hear a lot about his story. How cannabis has benefited from him, and where that has taken him to, including the cannabis and growing and all that stuff. And talking about growing cannabis, what do you got beside you there?
Oh, just one of my two that I've got going. But I mean, she's doing pretty good. She's going to get a nice haircut and go in the house and get tripped here in the next couple of days. But yeah, nothing been growing nicely outside, and you just got to continue doing what you can do. I mean, I can't do a lot more than without the power issue that I've got.
Right.
I still got a couple. Yep.
What is she?
Oh, it's a Gorilla Glue. It's a Gorilla Glue.
Gorilla Glue?
Yeah. I've got a nano tube. I've got another one over here.
As soon as you say glue, it
nano,
froze.
Yeah. This one's Gorilla Glue, and then I've got a nano tube. One of each. And like I said, I did a bunch of clones, and then I kind of neglected them. So they all sprouted, but then I forgot to water them.
Oh, yeah. That unfortunately that happens, and we are Mother Nature to the plants when they don't have natural rain or natural sun. We have to be everything.
Yeah, I am watering like twice a day. Like everything here is like suffering so badly. Like even my plants that I water twice a day, the heat is just killing everything. Like the grass.
It's just so warm.
The grasshoppers are munching the whole thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. All righty. Well, what do you say? Time to bring in our guest.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, as I said, time to bring our guest in. He's a patient as well as a person who loves to help people and patients as well as Tamara and myself. Always helping patients with whatever however we can help them out. And unfortunately, I forgot to ask him how he pronounces his last name, so I'm gonna guess here. Sorry, I know I get. What's that?
Just let him introduce himself.
All right. Okay, we'd like to welcome Jason of Tribal Gardens. Welcome to the show, Jason. How you doing?
Hey, nice to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm just I'm a medical patient living up here in Canada, and can tell you a little about myself and that.
Okay, well, hang on. Slow down.
Sorry, just a little nervous. First time on doing anything like this, so bear with me.
Yes, and no problem. We're here to make things nice and calm and relaxed, and and make things just feel like a regular conversation between three people and ignore
Right
anybody
on.
else. There's just the three of us sitting out here. We're all
Sounds good.
probably
Sounds
sitting
good.
with our plants or near our plants. So
You betcha.
now, Jason, I need to ask you your last name. I didn't. That was one thing I said to myself before we
It's
came on.
it's Louvelle.
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 Okay.
Yeah, I'm a
Louvelle.
French Newfie Indian.
Oh.
Yeah.
All
We'll
right.
talk about that later.
Okay, sounds good.
Like I think that's like 90% of us that are partial, this, that, and this. I call myself a Heinz 57. I think we're all just Canadian. And I think that's the best thing about being Canadian is that we're all just a little bit of a melting pot of all kinds of good things.
Just so you know, we've already got a message.
Okay.
Yeah, and you will recognize this name, Jason. And
Dale.
that is Green Irene. She says hi.
Oh, nice. Hey, nice to see you again. I wish you were here. Hopefully we have better technical luck than we did at the Cup there a few weeks back.
Yes, exactly. Just so everybody knows, that's where Jason and I met. We met at the Indigenous Cannabis Cup that was held down in Taginaga. He was there with Tribal Gardens, and we'll learn about that later on in the show. But it was the fact that he was a patient that led to him doing Tribal Gardens and so on and so forth. And here on the Pace Radio Show, we like to share patient stories, highlight patients, whether they are well known or not known or whatever. This is a spot that we've been doing this. It's actually our 10th anniversary this year that we've been doing this and giving so many people a voice. And even people like yourselves, so you said like this is your first time doing an interview like this, and I can completely understand any nervousness, even though I've been doing this for probably close to 15 years. I still have my moments, right? We all do.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I've been living under a rock for 5 years basically. So this is kind of the last month. There's been a lot of firsts for me. Let's just say that.
Yes. And just so you know, further from Green Irene, she says that she's busy road trapping, but would like to see you. May even be en route back through Ontario. Right now, she's traveling across Canada from British Columbia. Her and Ashley. And being that you're in Northern Ontario, she's not quite there yet. So there's a good opportunity.
Well, you tell her if she wants to come in off the highway or whatever. Like I'll give you my personal information after the show, of course, or whatever. But she's more than welcome to come and spend the night. I don't mind. I got an extra room upstairs for her if she needs. That'd be cool actually to re-meet her.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we had a good time there at the ICC, and we said, well, we're gonna get together, learn a little bit more about each other. We've got some similarities, some things in common. All three of us do. We're, as the post says, we're all dealing with bowel issues. So give us your story. Let us know. Like, were you always a cannabis consumer? Were you a person who was?
Well, you know what? I'll start right from the beginning. Basically, you know what? I was born up in Labrador, way up in the Labrador City. Moved to Newfoundland when I was 6 years of age. Lived from 6 to 6 in Toronto. Went back to Newfoundland at 16, and that's kind of where I guess my life kind of started, and I got into some trouble and whatnot. But basically, I lived there for a few years, and then I moved up to Toronto. I've been all over the place, so I guess we'll just start at the beginning. Everything was good.
Yeah. One question I asked some people in the beginning was your first use of cannabis, was it an experience because it was medicinal use, or was it one that, sometimes people have a funny story to share?
Well, yeah, you know what? I didn't even discuss this with you because we didn't have time, obviously, at the show. But I have a very unique story, I guess. I didn't even drink alcohol or consume cannabis till I was 17. I didn't even try. And I remember I was on a beach all the way in Newfoundland, and it was an oil. Actually, that's all we had. There was no weed back then. It was just all oil. We're going back 35 years ago. And I just remember smoking that, and it just made me so happy. And I was so I was just yeah, it set me free. I don't even know how to explain it. I was just like straight A student, goody two shoes, like always, like, following just straight A student. You can picture, you know what I mean? Good
Yeah.
growing up, good upbringing, was loved and all that. And yeah, I found that joint, and it changed my life. And I can't say it was for the best, to be honest with you. In the beginning, that was when
Mhm.
I was 16 years old, I guess, and I ended up at the same time kind of having. I broke up basically with my high school sweetheart of many years, and so you know the way it is. You're young and
Yeah.
I just didn't know any better, and my heart was broken, and I just went on one hell of a party. And
Hmm.
the difference was though, after 10 years, I was still partying. Um, Everybody else had went out and had kids, had gotten, married, had a job. I was still partying, and that's my own person, you know what I mean? That's my own personal demons that I
Right.
had to deal with, right? To face. And so, yeah, I basically traveled this country for many years, using and abusing. Um, I'm not proud of it, but that's my story, and this is
Yeah.
what it's brought me today. But I was a full-fledged drug addict at one point. Um,
Yeah.
and and
Well,
and 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 today, I can say that I just celebrated actually 20 years sober, 20 years
excellent. Way
clean.
to go. Way to go.
So I'm very grateful that my life has been drastically changed. But I just want to give
Wow.
perspective to where I came from to where I was. Like
Yeah.
back then,
Yeah.
I was homeless. I didn't have anything. I literally I lost everything. My family disowned me. I
Similar
lost my job.
the end of the day, cannabis saves people's lives. It's a quality of life, no matter whether it brings you from addiction, trauma, whatever. But cannabis is the end result of saving somebody's life. So good for you. I'm so proud to hear. I'm so happy to hear that you're doing so well. Because we've got
Yeah,
that, similar stories, right? But
Yeah.
again, it's all different. So good for you. That's so amazing. Thank you for
Okay.
yeah.
sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Continue. This is
Yeah, and
yeah.
just so basically, yeah, I got I don't drink anymore, and
So,
I'm sorry, you kind of threw me off my track. I was just
oh yeah.
basically
You were
just
sober for 20 years. You were sober for 20
yeah,
years.
and I basically back then I lived a life of that I wasn't proud of. You know what I mean? I really was,
Yeah.
and I did a lot of things. I got into hard drugs, a lot of stuff, and
Was was
yeah, now
was cannabis your way out?
you know what? Cannabis was my Yeah, no, most definitely. I used because I didn't want to do needles. I didn't want to do any of that hardcore stuff. I didn't like drinking too much because I just, I didn't like waking up to that white porcelain bowl and praying, oh, never do this again. I didn't like
Yeah.
that. I could, you know what, I can consume my cannabis and so you know what, I somewhat, I functioned,
Mhm.
and I got by. You know what I mean? I mean, I wasn't living. No, I wasn't happy. I wasn't, but
Mhm.
I was living. And
Yeah.
so years went on, and basically, I think I was how old? I'm 49 now. So I think when I was 29, I ended up basically I dropped to my knees. I had given up. I had lost everything. I had lost my family, my job, everything. I ended up going to rehab. Um, I
Yeah.
spent
Yeah.
I spent 15 months at a program in Toronto, a nonprofit program. These people saved my life. It was called Caritas, based out of North York. Um, And so basically, I went and I lived on a farm. I spent 15 months in rehab. Okay, that's how broken I was when I went there. Um, I was just a skinny. When I was skin and bones, when I went there, I was 90 pounds soaking wet, and I had consumed so much cannabis that I don't know what the drug tests are back there. We're talking like 20 years ago, but they literally said I had the third highest reading ever that the blood work they had taken or seen for cannabis. So I was in a lot of pain. I was trying to cope, obviously,
Yeah.
going through a
Yeah.
lot of stuff, you know. And so with that place, literally, I went there, and it saved my life.
Now, that's something that you did voluntarily on your own. Somebody guide you. You
Well, you know what? Short of leaving out a lot of unnecessary stories involving more broken hearts and Hell's Angels and a bunch of other stuff I'd rather not get into. I
yeah.
didn't leave a very good life. I wasn't very proud of what. I was, 20 years ago, if I seen you, I'd want to rob you, steal you. I wasn't a very nice person. I was really not a nice person. I'll be honest with you. Drugs and alcohol did that to me. And, it was once I got clean, I went to this 15-month program and
Yeah.
it changed my life. I did 12 months in there and basically they let me out for a week and my family had come up from Newfoundland and they had visited and, I stayed with them and, I still wasn't ready. I still hadn't dealt with all my demons. Your secrets will keep you sick. I'm a firm believer of that, and I had some childhood, abuse issues and stuff. I don't mind talking about it today. I'm good,
Okay.
but back 20 years ago, no, I wasn't good. You know what I mean? I was broken. So
Yeah.
anyway, I did that program. You know what? I did 12 months. I took a week off and I wasn't ready. I went back. I did another 6 months. And at that point, my family had moved up to Ontario. And basically, I had a job waiting for me when I left that place. So I went, I working in the local 183 construction unit. I was strong, young guy, fit.
Mhm.
Making good money. I was at this point, I was completely like drug, alcohol free, living, the straight and narrow, living with my folks and banking money. Everything was great. Met my ex-wife. You know, lived we lived a pretty good life up till
Sounds like
probably.
you did like a complete 180.
Oh no, totally, like total 180. I had to. I mean, well, it was
Yeah.
easy. I had to change everything. You
Yeah.
know what?
Yeah.
Like nothing. I tried my ways for many years. All I ended up was more broken. Broken
Yeah.
everything's.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
matter. So I finally had to, kind of like, shut up, close my eyes, and listen.
Hmm.
And those people saved my life. They made me look inside. And find out, you know, what it wasn't. I was blaming everybody else. I went around my whole life blaming this one for that. I lost that job because of that guy. I lost, just blaming everybody. Never, every time you point, there's always like three fingers pointing back at you. And I never had that accountability till like, many, 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 many years later. I was stubborn. It took many
Yeah.
years of beating my head. And yeah, things completely changed. So I had the job with the construction. I did that for probably 10, 15 years. And then finally, um, I had an accident actually. What happened is I fell down at work. I was in charge of safety, believe it or not. So I was putting up the safety railings and I ended up falling down 3 flights of stairs with I don't know if you've ever seen those big scaffolding planks or whatever that the bricklayers use. So it's
Yeah.
like 50, 70 pounds. So anyway, I fell down to the basement with that in my hands. The plank went through the wall into the basement. I ended up in the basement. So I ended up on yeah, I messed my back up and I was in
Oh,
rough shape. So I couldn't do construction. So I was on disability for some time. And that was hard because I'm a doer. I can't sit
you're
around and do nothing.
you're one of
I'm a
those go go
yeah,
go. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's just who I am and I always will be, God willing.
Okay.
So yeah, I couldn't, so I was off work for several months and then finally slowly I went back and they wanted to put me into the office. Here I am, a construction worker. Okay. Like I'm not an idiot. I got a brain, but I'm a construction worker at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I like using my hands.
Correct.
Um, so they put me in customer service. Basically, I worked for a builder. We had 5 subdivisions all over Southern Ontario, 2,500 homes. And when I started that, when I put me into that trailer, I was one of 5 with 4 ladies there. And within a year and a half, the 4 ladies were gone, and it was just me,
Oh.
literally.
Like,
So it was so weird. I'm very organized. I'm very
did
meticulous.
they
I'm very just. So no, they
like
moved
I
on to
know
other
like
projects.
oh they went okay, all right. Okay,
They
I wasn't
just
thinking
they
of it as a negative way.
no
Maybe
no no no
maybe
no
they
yeah.
were some people have concerns of being with people who are too tidy, that are always walking around with the you know big
No, just
toothbrush.
yeah. No, it was just basically the company seen what I was I guess, capable of or whatever. And they kind of just took those other people and put them, I'm not sure exactly where. And yeah, so I did that job for,
Yeah.
I'm going to say probably 10 years. And it brought me into my 40s. And basically at that point, it was a horrible job. It was a horrible job. Just picture this. I was sitting here just like this, okay? I had 5 phones in front of me, one for each subdivision, and all I got was like all the problems, like all the aftermarket problems with a brand new home. Like these are the cheapest house was like $600,000, right up like $1.5 million. So
Oh.
I was the customer service manager for the builder. Basically, I ended up on one
Oh.
site, and that job turned into like a customer service manager for the whole builder. And I ran
Oh.
it all out of one trailer, well, like one satellite construction trailer with internet wired into it and a phone, like 5 phone lines. Like it was, and I had 5 handyman at these 5 different like construction sites, and it was just all pre-organized, like 2-3 months out. It was horrible because every time the phone rang, it was just getting yelled and screamed at. And I hate to say it, but
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
it took a toll on my health.
Yeah.
It really took a toll on my health. Like they were paying me big bucks. I was unionized, had all the, you know what I mean? But money is not nothing. If you don't have your health, I don't care how rich you are, you ain't got shit. Sorry, you don't got nothing.
Yeah.
And that's something
Right.
I've realized, I really realized over the years. So I did that job for as long as I could. And my ex-wife is from Northern Ontario. And basically she had an opportunity to work where her family was in the local town up here.
Yeah.
So just on a whim, she threw in a resume and she got the job. Like she threw it in on Friday. Monday morning they called her or whatever. Tuesday she had the interview. Next Monday they wanted her to start, and we're like, what just happened? Like, so our dream was always to move north,
Right.
to retire and live the good life, the fresh air, and not live the
Quiet
rat race
life.
in the big city. I'm native. I love nature. I love the bush. That's my mojo. I can't live under concrete. It doesn't work for me.
It's not the
I need,
same.
no, it's not. I need daily ingestion of nature in my life or I don't function.
Yeah.
It's literally the first thing I do every day. So anyhow, not to get off track, I did that job. It broke me. Like it literally made me sick. I was fat. I had a double chin. I was up to like 200 pounds.
That's a different
Well,
guy that I saw.
if you sit in a chair like this, you know what I mean, for 5 years straight, no
Yeah.
exercise, no fresh air, you're in a construction trailer, eating fast food and crap. Yeah, I'm not that guy that you met. That's right.
Yeah.
So it took a toll, and so my health, and you're living down there, you got a huge mortgage, you're forced to just work to pay the bills. There's no real escaping it. So we took a chance. We sold everything. I moved up north, bought a $50,000 house that would have cost me probably $500,000 where I had just left from,
Yeah.
and bought the house, became pretty much mortgage free overnight. And the stress just from that was huge,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, but by then my health it wasn't that great. So I what did I do when I came up here? I was basically unemployed. It was the first time in my entire life that I've been on unemployment at like 40, yeah, like 40 years of age. I've never been on unemployment ever, not even for like a week.
Uh, okay. Yeah. So it sounds
Even
like
with
in your early.
construction.
Yeah. Construction, building things, working with your
Just
hands.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just residential
Creating things.
construction. So it was awesome. But
Sure.
yeah, so I didn't do that for forever, and I ended up moving up here,
Yeah.
and that's when it was weird because the stress levels went down, but my health issues went up, and something
Yeah.
wasn't adding up. So
Actually,
I used to smoke native cigarettes because they were so cheap, and it's kind of impossible to quit when they're $10 a carton. I mean, you do the math, like they're practically
right.
free, right? So
So
I wasn't,
when
my health wasn't no concern, right?
yeah. So like when you were in rehab, cigarette smoking was fine then?
Oh yeah, yeah, that was yeah. I did. I smoked like a champ, half pack a day, whatever I could afford.
Okay.
It was all
Yeah.
donated. I was like I said, I was homeless at that point. I had no source of income. I was just living.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was just this Caritas program is based on donations. So God
Sounds
love their
like
hearts because they save a lot of people. They save a lot of people that place.
listening to your story, it sure sounds like they did a hell of a job.
So yeah. So well, they helped me do what I needed to do for myself.
Correct.
Is
Correct.
what they
Exactly.
did.
Like you
You
say
know,
that
no,
is that
nobody. You know what? You can walk a horse, lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. And
that's
I'm a firm
right.
believer, like with therapy, with
Right.
anything, like it's if you want something bad enough, then you'll
Yeah,
get
we
it.
all know. We all know somebody
Yeah.
who's had problems and issues, and it can get nasty. So
So yeah,
it's good that you were able to find these people in order to change that and get you in a new direction, and it has made such a difference in your life. Now, when did the we're gonna go to breaks here shortly. And I don't want to get too
yeah,
far
yeah.
into it, but when did the Crohn's end of things come in? As we said in the
So
beginning.
well, basically, yeah, it was when I moved up here. My
Mhm.
stress levels went down. Of course, I was on unemployment. I was living in the bush.
Well,
I was living the dream. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And yeah, they just basically I went and got some blood work done, and because Crohn's is not something that can just be like I have Crohn's, fibromyalgia, and chronic fatigue syndrome. Those are the three autoimmune diseases that I've been diagnosed with.
Wow. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
we'll get into it, of course, after the
Yeah.
break
After
or
the
whatever.
break,
But
for
like
sure. Yes.
I couldn't even walk 4 years ago. I needed two hands to hold a plate of food, like seriously. So
Wow.
it's
Wow. Yes. We'll get.
this cannabis plant like literally has saved my life. Like not smoking it so much, but eating it, it's been a life
Consuming it,
saving. You
all
know.
that. Wow. Yes. Yes. We'll have to. Well, why don't we get it? Why don't we take break here a couple minutes early, and then we'll come back and we can get into all this, into the Crohn's, the
Sure, for
fibro,
sure.
the fatigue syndrome, and all of that stuff. So
All right, sounds good.
I've always said, patients sharing their stories is how other people learn. Myself, when I first got diagnosed with Crohn's disease 20 years ago, this year, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to find out how cannabis could benefit me, and hearing what other patients, testimonials. Michelle Rainey, who Tamara knows very well, Crohn's disease. Listen to her, looking for the information, right? So I always believe patients sharing their stories can benefit others. So, all
Absolutely.
right. Other than that, we'll continue our talk with Jason Louvelle of Tribal Gardens once we get back. We're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net and cbgtv.com.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to save the VCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponic shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBG TV, broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
We are People Advocating Cannabis Education here at paceradio.net.
Hello, hey, welcome back. I'm back anyways, just so everybody knows. Oh, there goes Tamara.
I'm back. I was trying to get the dog in.
Okay, all right. Just so you know, we lost Jason.
Oh no.
Yeah, during the break, I could see he was dealing with his camera and stuff, and I'm not sure what was going on. And then, oh, there he is. He's back. He's back. He's back. We got him. There he goes.
Hello.
All right.
The only problem is
go.
I don't have my headphones. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Okay. Well,
can you hear me? Okay.
Well, you're not. We're not picking you up on the mic on your headset. We're picking you up with the mic on your phone now. Okay, so what I'm going to get you to do is leave the room again. Okay. On the way back in, as I mentioned before, see if you can find that mic or the setting for your mic. If not, it may just grab it. So
okay, I'll see what I can do. My apologies. I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Once we get Jason all straightened around there, we'll get into more of his story. That was quite the story. This is his first interview, and he really opened up on what life was like for him at one time, and it does not sound like it was much fun.
I think a lot of patients advocates have come from that, where and in the criminal justice system too, and you've seen the realities of what addiction and trauma does, and and not everybody has. A lot of people are naive to that as well, and I think the open mindedness of our community really gives a platform for people that have been in that trauma addiction, because a lot of people have come out of addiction with cannabis. I did. I was using in 2005. I smoked a quarter pound of weed a week, but it got me away from smoking crack, and I've been having touched shit since.
Right.
I was that story over and over again. It was the gateway rather than the gateway in, right?
Yeah.
So there's
no
shame in that, and I think that if more people actually spoke up about the trauma and the addiction problems that they had and what cannabis helped them with. Again, focusing back to Jerry Martin too. What it did.
And can Can you hear us, Jason?
Yeah, I can hear you guys, but it's not going through my headphones. And I just checked, like I played music through Spotify just before I came on, so I know I'm hearing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can hear you.
Okay,
All right. So just take them off. Turn your
There we go.
phone. Turn your
Perfect.
phone so we get your large screen there. Okay. And if need be, we'll just bring you a little closer.
All right, does that work okay? Can you
Yeah,
hear
that
me?
works okay.
Okay,
We can hear
sorry
you.
about that.
Yeah, not a problem. You know, those things. Hey, it's live. Those things happen. You know, and we'll get it. We'll still go. We'll work with you to get it done.
Let's just say this: technology and me, we're not the best of friends. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, believe you, you're not alone. You're not
Oh,
alone.
buddy, it's rough some
No.
days.
Okay, so before the break, uh, we were talking about we talked. You're sharing your story through addictions and everything. And just before we went to the break, you talked about the three things that you actually use medicinal cannabis for.
Yeah, so basically, I'm going to say 5-6 years ago, I was diagnosed with Crohn's, fibromyalgia, and chronic fatigue syndrome is what the doctors wrote down on my paperwork. So I'm on disability, of course, with those conditions. However, in the beginning, it took like, I don't even know how else to say this, but the healthcare system is messed up. It took over 3 years of being poked, prod, sent, driven, like halfway
Oh,
across the provinces, like for 3 years, and I had to wait
oh,
like up to like 18 months to even see specialists. So
yeah.
basically, how it works is because I have fibromyalgia, which there's no blood work, they basically eliminate everything else that you have, and then they say you have fibromyalgia, like, and chronic fatigue syndrome. It was mind blowing. Like, I couldn't walk 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Like when I first started, I had no balance. I had intense to sound, to light. Like I'd literally have to sit in the dark some days. I couldn't listen to any music. On top of, not to gross you out, but like pissing water out of my butt 20 times a day. I was literally walking around with a roll of toilet paper. I couldn't go anywhere. I had to plan my day around where the toilet was, more or less. Like, not, that's the reality of my existence, you know? It was,
Yeah, exactly. Believe me, I know. I
it was
completely
horrible.
understand, and I'm sure
Like,
Tamara does.
you know, like the last job that I worked for, like I was literally on my hands and knees at the bottom of the ski hill. I ran the ski hill here in town. I was the manager for the whole ski hill, and I was on my hands and knees, like, and my buddy was at the top of the hill, and I couldn't even get up to walk to him. And I'm like, I just rated him on to make sure he was okay or whatever, because we are doing some snow making, and I just said to him, "I was like, buddy, I'm done. I'm done. Like I'm done. Like," and that was the last day I've worked. And
Yeah.
I went to the hospital, and it took, it was 3 years before I got a diagnosis. So in those
It
3
took
years,
3 years,
3 full years to get
and that
my
diagnosis for
disability.
your Crohn's.
Yeah, like it was mind blowing, because the only thing that saved my bacon was the Crohn's, because they could do a scope. So I had the scope done down through this way to check my esophagus and all that, and then they checked my bottom, of course, because that's where Crohn's is. It's in your
Yeah.
bottom, right? So yeah, I was full. I was full of Crohn, like all the inflammation or whatever. But it wasn't to the point. Like it wasn't. I guess some people have had it worse. Like I guess I don't know much about it, because thankfully I found cannabis before I got too far on the pharmaceutical route. I'll just
Right.
leave it at that. So basically, I took 3 pills. Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
the steroid treatment. I imagine you lost a lot of weight.
Well, I couldn't keep any nutrition in. Like it didn't matter what I
Yeah.
ate. I was literally like, it was just water going out the back end. Like it didn't matter what I ate.
And you're wondering, like, what the hell do you mean you can't find out what's wrong with me? Look at it. Holy.
Well, and no, but if you look at me, I look healthy. Like I do. I mean, I'm fairly healthy today, but compared to what I was, I mean, I'm really healthy, but I'm nowhere near, like, I'm not back 100% by any means. but I'm very grateful for what I've been able to accomplish with a change in diet, exercise, cannabis, medicinal mushrooms. Yeah, it's been a life-changing, like 5-6 years. I tried all their pills in the beginning. It's like I didn't even know, like, because of my previous addiction, the last thing I wanted to use was cannabis. Like, I'd be straight up honest with you. Like, I didn't even want to entertain the thought of using drugs of any sort. I really didn't. My family at that point were like dead set against it. Like, even my ex-wife, like, you know, God love her heart to this day. I mean, we're still going through a divorce, but she saved my life. Like, she really did, because she took the time to research the benefits of cannabis. She's seen, I took Endocort, I took Pentasa, I basically took their pills for 6 months, okay? And the side effects from those pills were way worse than having fibromyalgia, Crohn's, and chronic fatigue. So why would I want to continue to take those pills? I don't understand it. I tried it 3 times. I'm like, I'm not doing a fourth. So I literally woke up in the middle of the night. I didn't wake up. I couldn't sleep because one of the pills they said is that after a while you're going to have hard time sleeping. Well, do you know what I looked like after 9-10 days with 2 hours of sleep? Can you imagine what a human body looks like after? You didn't want to look at me, I tell you, because I would have took your head off. Like, I'm just saying, I was miserable. I was so miserable because you can't, without sleep, the body doesn't heal. It doesn't function. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. So, I threw all their crap in the toilet, and I went and found the only guy that I knew from the ski hill for sure that smoked cannabis. Like, I mean, sometimes you can just, I mean, unfortunately, there's that stigmatization, but for this one time, I was very grateful that there was no one. I knew where to go see if I wanted some herb. And I literally went on to the guy's door, and I knocked on the door, and he knew who I was, but he didn't know why I had stopped working at the ski hill. And I literally knocked on his door, and I explained my situation, and he sent me away with 3 grams of the shittiest weed I've probably seen. But I tried it, and I've never looked back since. I don't even know how to explain it to you. I smoked it. I felt instant relief. Like, I wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. My body wasn't completely tense. My stomach wasn't all in knots. The pain in my shoulders and everything from the fire, like, it wasn't gone. Don't get me wrong. Like, because I couldn't barely walk. Right. So this is like, ooh, what's going on here? But I didn't want to do that because of my previous history. So it was like, you know what? My wife was like, okay, this obviously works. And we got to at least go down that road, at least. So, I found some more herb, of course. And then basically I said, well, if I'm going to be doing this, because where I live literally across from a school. It's a small little town, like way up in northern Ontario. It's like, you have no idea. I'm still living under a rock up here, more or less, because it's not so mainstream as I know. It's been legalized in Canada since 2018. Well, I hate to tell you, there's still parts of this country the whole town's full of old people, like, you know what I mean, that are so anti-cannabis that it's still in the closet up here. It really is. Yeah. So I found my doctor who prescribed me 3 grams a day. I have Crohn's fibroid. She gave me 3 grams a day. That's all I could get out of her. Okay.
Hey, Jason, before you get into that, I just want to check with Tamara. Tamara, are you hearing some staticky noise when Jason was talking?
Yes.
Yeah, just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just started. As you talk, it starts going staticky.
Really? I'm not sure.
So what I'm going to do, I'm thinking it's just a bit of a connection thing. Just leave the room again and just come back.
All right, I'll be right back.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so 3 grams. That's all they're giving him.
Do I have a cricket in this place? Or is that
What's
you?
That? Crickets are here. That'd be me. I can hear them. They're right over here in the dark.
Yeah, because I'm like listening to because it's like echoing in here. I'm going, is that you or is that me? Okay.
No, that's me.
Echoey. I'm
all right. Yeah. There we go.
Is that any better?
Oh no, it actually made it worse.
It actually made it worse? Really? Oh,
Yeah.
no. Okay,
Geez,
I'll
that
try
sounds
again.
good.
The joys of live TV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like,
joys of live
like,
video.
up north in Ontario too, and being like still having to have that stigma and having to hide, what your medicine is and everything else, and
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. But again, that's not unusual across this country because we have a vast,
That's
demographic
huge.
of different people with different religions, with different outlooks on life, and
Mm. He was coming in really good there for first 3 quarters of the show, and then just all of a sudden,
how far north is he?
he is uh, he is 17 hours or 15 hours north of me.
Is it still all messed up?
Hey, you're back.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right, so you're at 3 grams.
Yeah, so basically I was at 3 grams a day, which is not a whole lot, and I didn't know anybody. I still to this day really don't know anybody. I'm the only guy in where I live. I don't really associate it with other people. It's my medicine. I'm not, you know what I mean, partying here in town or anything. It's my medicine. So I really don't know any other people. So the long story short is I got 3 gram a day license for Tweed. From Tweed. I don't know, you must all know who Tweed is, right? They were the
Yeah, we know
only
what Tweet
ones,
is.
okay, back in the day. So I ordered all my stuff from them at an astronomical cost for, I didn't even know, okay, like I didn't know there was good weed out there. I really didn't know because all I ordered was from Tweed and all of it tasted the same. It all smelled the same. And I didn't understand why until years later, basically, that it's eradicated. And it was just, I guess they're allowed, the last time I checked, there's 26 approved pesticides or sprays that they can spray on their plants. And this was going back like 4 years ago. So I can
Yeah,
only imagine how many it is now.
yeah. Last I
So,
knew it was around 100. There is a page though.
really? So it's so
Yeah.
bad that they've actually taken that list off of Health Canada. It's not even on there
But
anymore. I can't find it.
here's the flip side and the good side to it. In British Columbia, where I live, actually, microcrafters can actually go directly to the stores now. We do not have to eradicate. They aren't using any pesticides. They're actually doing organic grows. So we are getting, and I was at the store the other day when one of their representatives was in the store, and they can directly go from the micro grow crafter directly to the store. There's no LBD. There's no government involvement anymore. They just have to pay taxes. So this is something in British Columbia that's happening. I'm hoping it's going to, get, its way through the rest of the country within the provincial regulations. But that's a step forward, at least out here. And not all of them are eradicating anymore. And you just need to find yourself a better provider. That's for sure. Or just stay doing what you're doing if you're growing your own. Because the best way is to grow your own. Honestly, it is. It's the best way.
So the long story short is I
Yeah.
found the weed from the cannabis from Tweed, and then I'll be honest with you, I was not happy. So I did what everybody else in this whole country does. They ordered weed from BC because, well, that's what the whole world knows. BC bud, right? That's what I did. I didn't know any better.
That's what everybody else does.
Right, that's what everybody's done.
Yeah.
So obviously, it was mind blowing, the change in quality. It was actually medicine. It wasn't pesticide. Sorry to say, but it was actually
It
true
wasn't
medicine. It was grown with love.
industrialized.
It wasn't it wasn't sterilized. Exactly, all the goodness has gone right out of it. So I did that for about maybe a year or so. Okay, like I ordered from there, and then I knew enough. I had become healthy enough because remember when I started this, I couldn't walk. Like I literally couldn't walk. Okay,
Yeah.
I needed 2 hands to hold a plate of food. When I went to the hospital in July of 2017, they couldn't turn on the hot tub. Okay, the jets and the physio, they couldn't turn them on because it was so raw. My skin, I was in tears. Like I just literally left, and yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Like that's just to paint a picture of how bad it was. So fast forward, some time, I found an actual cannabis doctor who truly believed, not like God love my doctor here in town but she's not a cannabis doctor. You know what I mean? Like she's not a cannabis doctor, but I found a true loving woman who actually believed in this plant and gave me like a 50 gram a day license and told me to start juicing, start eating, start making FICO, like fully extracted cannabis oil. Like, I wasted a year and a half, not wasted, okay, because when I smoked, but I literally wasted a year and a half smoking, and I really only got smoking this was about hour and a half, 2 hours of pain relief. I never got any true internal healing until I started juicing the plant. So I take full mature plants. Like I was basically given a license to have 50 grams. It was like 200 and little over 200 plants. So I was able to experiment and do what I needed to do for my health. And I don't know how else to explain this to you, but gardening in itself was so therapeutic. I was getting healthy while I was gardening. It's not just it's medicine. I don't even know how to explain it to you. It's giving my life back so much that today, I have the old Jason back. I'm not it's just amazing, and it's taken a long time. Like, I didn't have anybody really. I didn't really have anybody because I kept to myself. I didn't know. I just kind of did it all on my own until I met an amazing group of other growers that kind of took me under their wing and realized, that, there's another way. I don't have to take pharmaceuticals. I can do natural root. And I'm so much better for it. Like, I don't have no regrets, like none whatsoever, doing it my way. And basically I've been disowned. Like, for the last, I haven't had a scope. So I'll tell you now. So I've started eating this FICO, the fully extracted cannabis oil. I eat basically, when I was at my worst, I was eating 1 gram a day because I heard it was for cancer patients. So basically I just said, well, shit, if it can cure cancer, I mean, it's got to be good for what I got. And that's where I ran with it. And I just started, my doctor said, eat as much of that as you can possibly do. And I literally was messed up. Don't get me wrong. This stuff is strong. I just had it lab tested at the cup last week. And it came back at 732 milligrams per gram in one syringe, okay? I can only buy 10 milligram edibles from the government.
Yeah.
73 times stronger. Just okay, like, something's not right here. I'll get fat and die of diabetes before I get medicated.
Yeah, you sure will. Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So I found another way, it's not for everybody. By all means, I am not a doctor. I'm Jason. I'm just an average Joe Blow guy that literally couldn't walk 5 years ago. But I'll tell you, since I found cannabis, I started in my basement I had a little tiny grow. I think I had maybe 25 plants. That's my first license was. And I started in the basement.
5 grams.
Since then, I've built myself 2 garages. One of which we're sitting in here now. I mean, you can see I have a whole, we're sitting in my hash room, actually. If you see right behind me, there's my freeze dryer and
nice.
These are all my freezers and my baby tents. So
Nice.
I'll show you after, but I haven't looked back. It hasn't been all roses. You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't. No. It's been a struggle, man. There's days that I still can't get out of bed.
Well,
but there's other days that I'm climbing mountains. Whereas before I had 1 good day out of 7. Now I have 6 good days out of 7. So, I'm very grateful that God has given me the opportunity,
Like, as far as the growing end of things, I'm assuming, did you know how to grow before? Like, myself, like, I never barely even watered a plant before learning how to grow.
No, I don't have a green thumb, so I'll tell you what I did. I live in the middle of nowhere. All I have is internet. I went on YouTube. I found Marcus Bubbleman, his show, Hash Church. Okay? That was the first cannabis-related show that I found, and it actually had some patients on it. There was no information about growing, but awesome, good people on that show, okay? So then I found, it was all through internet. So I found a bunch of these shows, the Grandmaster Level show, the Dude Grow show, all these shows, everything that you want, okay, to do what I'm doing can be found on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I didn't know. I've never even seen another cannabis plant until I went to the event like 3 weeks ago in 6 years.
So
Yes.
if I can pull off what I pulled off here, anybody can do it. I have Crohn's fire. Like, I don't know how I did it. Just little baby steps, one little big,
Correct.
you know, like and not looking at the mountain at the end of it, just little step at a time. And you know what? It's amazing. You do a bunch of these little steps. Now I'm sitting in the garage of these little steps.
Yeah, and you probably found that as you were learning this stuff from watching these videos, that you learned things that from so many different people because you took things from this person, ideas from that person, suggestion from them, you know.
That's exactly what I did. You know, I got a huge shout out to the Michigan Bro Grow Show, the Johnny B Grow Crew. Basically, they took me under their wing and showed me how to grow. Like, you know what I mean? And like, you know, privately, like through the internet, we all just, you know, Zoomed and like through COVID and everything. And it's amazing what I've been able to accomplish. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I know, eh? And it can be so rewarding, but I'll tell you, it's not stress free as far as I'm concerned. There's still some stressors in it.
Yeah. So I'm like, basically, I'm like, I have one other, like, there's a couple of people that help me like part time because, to be honest with you, in the beginning, I couldn't even barely walk or think. Like,
right.
I'm the brains, basically. You know what I mean? And I took out, once I realized that cannabis was going to be the be all end all, like, it's not the be all end all. Okay. It's exercise, diet, mind, mental, you know, it's everything. It's a whole life change. It's not just, you can't just consume cannabis and think your life's going to be just perfect, because it doesn't work that way. I wish it was. It'd be easy if it was. But it was literally, you know, doing all those things that, you know, over time, periods of years, you know, it's gotten me to this point now. And
it's a learning process.
I help other people. Like,
good. We'll get into helping the other people. We're gonna go for break in about 2 minutes, or actually maybe we'll just go to break now, and then we can get into that end of stuff.
Sure, sounds good.
All right,
sounds good. I'm gonna have a puff.
Okay, all right. The so far, I'm doing pretty good. I haven't gotten eaten by mosquitoes yet out here tonight, so we're doing all right.
You wouldn't do that up here.
Around here on the screen. All right, we're off to break. We'll be right back, and we'll continue our discussion with Jason Louvelle of Tribal Gardens. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net and cbgtv.com.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBG TV, broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyndonega.
We have 2 lines of drinks. One's called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, welcome back to the Pace Radio Show. Oh boy, what's going on there?
Oh, you know.
There we go. I think there's Jason's having some issues again.
Can you hear me now?
I can barely hear you, but we can't see it. I'm hearing myself. So I can get you to leave the room.
Okay,Ll be right back.
I'm back.
I have no idea what's going on. I haven't changed nothing.
You're right. It seems like we go to break. It doesn't make sense.
Maybe his internet is like wishy-washy. It's hard to say.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know, they say
there's no change. Like it automatically mutes everything, right? Like there's no, the video is still, people can't see us, but we can see the video. He's back with us. There we go. There we are. You're back.
Can you hear me now?
We're good.
Okay, good. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that's what we were just saying. Like when you go to break, that happens, but when you come back, you leave the room. It doesn't make sense.
I'm not quite sure. That's bizarre. So
yeah, that is. Well, it's just gremlins in the system. At least know we're live. If we were pre-recorded, we clean up all that stuff.
It's all good. No worries.
That's right. Exactly. Okay, so you just before the break. Okay, just so you know, we got about 20 minutes or so. Just before the break, you mentioned helping patients.
Yeah, well, basically, because of Health Canada, there's a program like designated grower through Health Canada. So that's something that I've always done for the last, up till the last 4 or 5 years. Basically, I've always taken a patient on or two, my ex-wife and myself. So that's something that because like I was so freely given what I was given, I just wanted to give back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like what I know should be shared. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I just want to share it with people. Like, the whole world needs to know
everybody
about this magical plant. Like, I literally tell everybody I do. You know what? And some people like look at me like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then other people are like, hey, you want to have a little talk? You know what I mean? So you'd be, shocked who those people are. You'd be really shocked. Like, even my mom and dad, like 5 years ago when I got sick, and then basically, I decided to use cannabis because nothing else worked.
Seeing is believing.
What's
Seeing
that?
is believing. Seeing is believing.
Exactly.
When they saw, I've got to believe that when they saw the benefit that it made to you, they had no choice but to believe.
Like, I don't know exactly when it was, but like say 3 or 4 years ago, they visited all the way from Newfoundland. I'm all the way up Northern Ontario. I couldn't even like walk. I couldn't do anything with them. Like, I just couldn't. And believe it or not, like they came a couple years later, and I'm like digging garden beds with my mom. We're going on hikes. We're doing like using construction tools. the stuff that it was a pipe dream. Like I walked the mountain in town here that I would never thought. Like I remember sitting on the couch in tears thinking, I'm never going to be able to walk. And I remember the day when I made it to that mountain and I was like, man, I ain't stopping. The mountain's not big enough. Like I don't care what you have. It's your mind is powerful. I don't even tell myself I have Crohn's or fibro or any of that shit anymore. I get up and I take my dogs for, sometimes it's, it could be a half a kilometer walk. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 kilometer walks. I've actually made it up to like 12 kilometers in one day. Now, mind you, I couldn't get out of bed for, the next day, but
yeah. It's not something you're going to do back to back.
And that's something that comes with, with time, with living with my disease. I know how much I can do. And when I overdo it, I pay the price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I had a glorious opportunity to have my old job back like a few weeks ago. And I literally had to turn it down because I just can't physically do 40 hours of hard labor running ski hill and like cutting trails with a chainsaw. It's just, I had to be realistic. I'm almost 50 years of age,
Yeah, well, the dealing with the like you're talking about doing something physical, and then did you find that you're doing something physical, you're dealing with pain issues, and if you stop, you're done.
Yeah, I can't stop.
You find that you keep pushing yourself because when you stop, your day is over.
And if I know, like, first off, who's going to employ me? Because I literally have to medicate every couple hours. I eat edibles. Like, I probably eat anywhere from, I'm going to say 3 to 800 milligrams a day, depending on the day. I know it's a lot, right? And I've tried doing tolerance breaks, you know what I mean? And like, literally it's pointless because within 2 or 3 days, it's back like, to the same amount where I was. And I've actually tried, the funny part is, so catch this, in the last 5 years, okay, I've tried quitting basically my cannabis oil, okay? That is the magic. That, I don't care what anybody sells, that will cure just about anything. And I literally, because I don't like being medicated, because I don't like, not that I don't like it, because I don't like being high, you know what I mean? But I'm to the point now that I don't really get high anymore anyway, because it's in my body's so saturated with it. I still function. You know what? I ate a gummy before I started. I'm gonna eat another one. Yeah. It's not about, you know what I mean? It's not about getting high anymore. It's about getting well. It's about getting through my day so that I'm not messed up the next day. And as long as I do, I know what I need to do every day. To get by now.
Yeah,
I'm happy for it.
Some people would be surprised that you function on the amount that you consume, and you get stuff done.
So I'm a real, believe it or not, I go to church every Sunday and I actually run like the whole sound tech at the church. Okay. They know what I'm about. The actual pastor is he's OPP officer. Okay. And he's actually like, he's been here. He's seen it. He's actually impressed. Like he's proud. He's actually happy that I've got my health back. Like, and I can actually help at the church. Like I cut the grass and I shovel the snow all winter and all summer long. I couldn't even walk 5 years ago. Like,
yeah. Well, when you get talking with Green Irene, you guys can share a story because until she had part of her story includes being in a wheelchair and not being able to walk.
Oh wow! Well, she's walking now. Let me tell you, I seen her 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. Right?
She was doing more than walking. But yeah, no, I've I can't say names, of course, because this is all personal, confidential, or whatever. But like, there's like somebody close to me was on 36 pills a day. Okay, she was diagnosed with chronic regional pain syndrome. She literally had a wire, infused into her body as some experimental thing for pain management. Okay, she was on 36 pills. And in 9 months, guess how many she's on? 4.
4. Nice.
It's amazing.
She would have one, instead of one of those Monday to Sunday pill containers, for 32 pills a day, she would probably need bowls for lunch, morning, and evening.
I seen like when I actually had the doctor's appointment, like the online Skype appointment with her mom, and a few other, you know what I mean. There was a few of us there.
Yeah.
She hadn't slept. Okay, in 5 years, she hadn't slept for more than 5 hours consecutively. She needs a walking cane. She's 31 years old.
Oh.
She has two kids that she couldn't take care of. Like, it's
No.
mind blowing how I didn't even know there was 4 different kinds of oxys. Well, that's how many there is. Well, there may be more, but that's how many she was on. And literally, she went from 36 to 4 pills. She couldn't walk. I gave her some of my Fico, like the oil. The
Yeah.
first night she slept 6 hours consecutively, and she woke up hungry. She woke up like she
Hey.
slept for like 8, 10, 12 hours within like a couple weeks. She put back on weight. Her hair came back. Like, she can actually lift her kids. She doesn't need a walking cane anymore. She's doing yoga. She's doing poses in yoga
All
that
right.
I didn't even know were possible for a human being to do. Like, seriously, she couldn't even walk. It's so
And just
the
think where
power
you
of
were a few
cannabis.
years ago.
It's
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
When you feel and experience the benefits of cannabis, you want to help others, and they see it. Their experience is huge, and it just keeps spreading and spreading and spreading.
you know, it's amazing. Like, I want to show you because I know we only got a couple of minutes left, but I don't know how to do this, but I'll just zip it down. I'm not sure what you can see, but these are
Oh
basically
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah. We can see your babies in there.
Yeah,
Yes,
these are all my babies. Okay, so
nice.
this is the next round for basically I have 11 4x8 beds, like living soil beds. I grow everything
Beds.
organically. There's no sprays. It's all water only. Because it's my medicine. I can't put 100 sprays. I can't eradicate. I can't. Why would you even want to do that? It's medicine.
I don't spray anything on mine other than when they're clones. Once they have roots.
White powder is diatomaceous earth, which I guess you all know is like a crustacean just to get rid of keep the critters off, right? Because it's outside, I dust it with diatomaceous earth, so that's the only thing that's been used on this, and that's like natural. And they've got worm castings and like soil, and I've been using Remo's nutrients.
Okay.
So it's all like black earth, stir manure.
I'm actually. I just started my 15th cycle. I'm 3+ years in on the exact same beds.
Nice. Same soil. Same soil. You
Same
just
soil. I don't even
keep.
amend it anymore. It's just its own ecosystem. All I do
Wow.
on I just chop and drop like basically all my leaves on day 1, 14, day 1, say 20 and 40. They all just go back into the beds. I have a barley mulch layer straw that basically it grows grass. I cut that back, and it's just a self-regenerating. I'm about to plant some carrots and potatoes. Believe it or not, I'm going to sacrifice one of my beds next week just to experiment, because where I live, I don't have the option of growing outdoors. So if I can provide myself good, organic, clean food as well as good, clean, organic cannabis, it's kind of a no-brainer. I'm paying for the electricity. I'm paying for the lights. So
you might as well grow food too.
Yeah.
Might as well grow food with it.
And it's nice thing about doing these beds is the fact that you don't have any pots and crap like that to have to deal with and clean.
Exactly. I have probably 307-gallon fabric pots sitting over in a garage that I'm proudly say are retired, because you know how hard it was for me to lift 7-gallon pot full of water. Pardon my French, but it kicked the shit out of my body. I couldn't do it. Yeah. So I literally built one bed, and I'm like, I got nothing to lose. I'm gonna experiment. And I built one, and then I built 5 more, and then I ripped apart the other garage, and I built them all in the beds as well. And I haven't looked back since. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
I grow in a living organic system as well, but I don't grow in beds. I still grow in pots. The beds are something that being that I'm changing my garden around. The beds are something that I'm thinking about doing. So we'll have to talk more afterwards.
For sure.
But
if you don't mind, and I don't
5-gallon buckets.
Perfect. Nothing wrong with that.
Like when I was growing indoor before, because I had a huge indoor grow at one time. Then we were like into the 10-gallon garbage cans with wheels. And but again, that was when I had power.
Yeah, unfortunately, where I live, I've seen a foot of snow on September 8th. And I've also seen snow. Usually the snow doesn't leave till, I used to have a cabin, and the earliest I've ever been in there in my Jeep in 4x4, winching myself in, was May 10th, to give you perspective to how far north I live.
Was started in the house, right? Well, she was started in a friend's tent.
Yeah.
Then it was started by a clone. And then she's been outside now since probably mid-May, the end of May. And she will go back inside and like give her a haircut, clone her up, and then go back on her lights inside, because I live in the mountains, in the Rocky Mountains, and I will have snow by the 24th of October. And there's no way that I'm going to get the 12 and 12. And I tell people, go ahead and try and grow outside. You're not going to get the flower. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. I worked at a garden center up until a month ago as their cannabis expert, and I was trying to tell, well, we've got these 14 feet plants. I'm like, that's terrific.
They can be 20 feet tall.
They're not going to flower because we don't get the 12 and 12.
You don't get the light. Wow.
By the time,
they're beautiful.
By the time I get, sorry,
they don't even know
ahead.
boys yet, so they could be a 15-foot male.
Yeah. By the time I get 12 and 12, I could have snow on the ground up here. Like,
exactly.
Literally.
That's why these guys are feeling
It's not
buckets.
an option.
They're out here all summer long, and then with the tomatoes, I spray them down, give them a good dusting of digestive earth, and put them in the house under lights, because that's the only way I'm going to get a flower, right? In the basement, in a dark room with LED lights.
I'm going to take you on a little tour.
Okay, sure.
Just bear with me. Might go dark for a second.
Okay. All right, green
I
light.
can't be in here very long because it's the green lights, and the lights are supposed to be off.
Look at them all. Nice.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but
Yeah, yeah. You can see the plants in around you.
I can't hear it, so I'm going to come out of there. But
yeah, the fans and everything, I would imagine.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you.
Nice, nice, nice.
I'm not against system. I like that you got a nice big freezer door there. Like, it's a big freezer door with, like, it's insulated. It's good. Like, nobody's getting into that shit.
Oh no, it's secure, high security. Like, I got double doors sealed. Like, this is because where I live, it's -40, so I can't just open the door into my grow. That would be a guaranteed recipe for PM, like, instantly overnight.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Mold, right? So I literally have to build a lung room.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
basically, I've turned this is my hash room. This is my hash making room. This is what I do here. So
make hash in there, eh?
Yeah, that's what I take.
Most of us would like a room. Most of us would like a room big enough just to have a garden. Never mind having room to make hash in.
Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I had to take out like a $40,000 line of credit on towards my house. Like, this is like, people laugh and they see it and they're like, but this is not a joke. Like, this is my livelihood. Like, if I can't consume cannabis, I'll die. Like, or I'm not even gonna have, like, I'm gonna be stuck on the couch. I can't even walk again. I don't care what it costs. I have to have my medicine, and people don't. A lot of people, unless you're sick, you don't truly. I didn't appreciate that until I got sick. I really didn't. I didn't have no understanding.
And a lot of people thought that consuming cannabis was all about just getting stoned, but yet there's people like yourselves and ourselves that.
Like you said, I started taking that Start Right course in British Columbia to sell cannabis legally, and they might not recognize cannabis legally like you as medicine in by Health Canada, but I'll tell you, when they're telling you and teaching you how to sell it in the recreation market, they draw a really specific line about medical and recreational. And the fact that if you're selling cannabis in a recreational store, you are not to speak about medical cannabis at all, like at all. It's a liability and everything else. So that's a fine. It's a strict line that's drawn in the BC legislation in our Cannabis Act as for selling cannabis in the recreational market. So that's why I find it such a hypocrisy that Health Canada doesn't recognize cannabis as a medicine, yet when it's coming to selling it, the line is drawn strictly on medical and recreational.
Yeah.
So they recognize medical cannabis when it comes to recreational sales, yet they don't recognize medicine for it to be, cannabis right for the rest of us as patients.
Who uses facial scrub as a recreational item? Like, really? Come on.
Well, it's suppositories. Like,
them too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Like, wait, can you?
If you go into a store, like I actually stopped going into a store here because I said to her, like, you know, this medical stuff, you're like, you know, I hate it, blah, 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 it's such bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so you're going to sit here and make money off this stuff, and yet you're going to diss it and not want anything to do with it. I quit going to that store because it was just the way she came across about medical cannabis.
Yeah.
For medical
That's the thing. That's where you need. That's where.
That, you know, fought for your rights. You wouldn't have a recreational market, yet they want to diss and sit there and yeah.
No, like I'll straight out put this here. If there's anybody here, I don't care if it's like, as long as my 2 feet and a heartbeat are still walking, I will be growing cannabis because I need it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
If there's anybody out there who hears this that needs help, that actually needs medicine, I can hook you up with a doctor. I can hook you up with whatever you need to get growing your own. In the meantime, you know, help you out, like whatever you need. I'm an open book. I don't mind. I have all my recipes, all my compost teas, everything that I have. I've given it share. Why would I keep it?
Yeah. Perfect.
You still have to do the work. I can give you all the answers, but you still got to do the work.
Still need to do, yeah. And you know, some people, that's all they need is to be told how to do it. You know, or you know, shove this way or shove that way.
Education's not illegal, and that's what saved my ass. By, you know, when I was teaching people how to make their own candy and edibles, because they'd come with their own product, they'd come with their own stuff. I teach them, they'd leave with their product. One of them got busted, and that was the whole win in that legal case, is that education's free and it's not illegal for the patients.
We just lost a good friend of the cannabis community, and Gary Pauster, and that was, you know, it was, you know, I don't know if you knew Gary or not, Jason, but Gary's like the rest of us, where, you know, we discovered the benefits of cannabis and couldn't shut up and just started talking about it all the time, and then just start educating groups of people at different things. Like I used to do it at the cafe. I'd have 50 people there on a Sunday. You know, Gary was the same thing. He'd have him and Rob would have 50 people showing up and learning how to make cannabis oil.
We go and do
sharing the education and the knowledge.
Like Normal Women's Alliance, we go to like libraries and Medicine Hat and other places in Southern Alberta and actually do showings of movies like Run from the Cure and all these movies that were actually promoting legalization in the medical sense of things. Because at the end of the day, when recreational cannabis came into effect, the benefit is there hasn't been arrests. Okay, like that's one thing I will say about the recreational market. We have lost the small possession arrests. There's been hundreds of thousands of people that have not been arrested for possession charges in the last 5 years. That's freed up the courts a lot. They're not racing after looking for large, you know, growers, blah, blah, blah. So that's the benefit of legalization. But what it's done is left the patients behind.
There's been benefits and there's been downfalls. You know, as far as a grower, our licenses went from allowing to store so many pounds to being able to store unlimited.
And always wanted dignified access. That was one thing that we asked for, was dignified access. And we do have access. Now, whether it's dignified access, that people that wouldn't have consumed cannabis prior to legalization are now have the ability to walk into a store and actually access it. If they weren't, you know, they're not going to an illicit store. Now they know that they're going into a legal entity. That's opened the door for a lot of senior citizens that would have not used before. So I hate to keep promoting the legal market, but again, if we didn't have this, the ability for some patients wouldn't be there, especially in where I live.
There's pros and cons.
I agree, but I kind of agree to disagree, because a lot of the products that I actually make home here at my house, you couldn't buy at a legal anywhere in Canada.
If I could have gotten my products and my friends' products into the market that are far superior in quality, 110%. I agree with you, 110%.
Like,
why the free market is so beneficial for some people that actually need it. The Indigenous market, I think, is farther ahead on all levels. Like, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying people that
I'm not disagreeing. I'm agreeing to disagree with you. All I'm saying is, as of right now, there's 478 Indigenous dispensaries in Canada. There's 20 off reserve.
Well, I think our Indigenous got well, never mind that we just had a fire down there and they've been burned, but they were raided. they were taken out. The only indigenous reservation cannabis store that we had on our res was rated by the RCMP.
Huh.
Right?
And
Yeah.
Chief and
then,
Council didn't do anything?
Yeah.
so never mind that their houses were burnt. Like, they were raided. Now their houses have been taken out by a wildfire. This is now what, our First Nations people start dealing with. So cannabis regulations and stuff is the last thing on their minds at this point.
Right, yeah, you have to burn it up. That's for
Right,
sure.
at the end of the day, and like I said, I've always advocated for them. But at the end of the day, too, we took our products down to them, and they didn't want nothing to do with Canamed or anything that we brought forward for them, which was, I'm good with that. We should, we brought it down. We didn't want it, great, but I'd rather First Nations hands down be the first in the market. Always said that right from the get-go.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm right in the middle of two First Nations that have plenty of stores, and Jason, you were at one of them in Tayaganaga. I always tongue-tie twist that word. And you never got to Alderville, but I would imagine you never got there. But you have a 15-hour ride down here. It was great for you to do that, towing your trailer and coming down, and I'm sure you got to meet a lot of people while you were at the ICC.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience. That's, like I said, I've literally been pretty much living under a rock for 5 years, and that was the first time I ever.
Prior to legalization, First Nations were sitting at the legalization roundtables. All nations were invited and for consultation. When I was in Vancouver for the legalization roundtables prior to legalization, we had several reservation chiefs sitting amongst us. So they were there and very interested in the aspect of what could be done for the reservations. We're talking prior to legalization. Right. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we're down to the last 3 minutes, so we better get into the shout out here. Person, place, a thing, website, anything like that. Jason, you'd like to?
You know what? You can find me on Instagram, basically Tribal Gardens. That's the only place that you're going to be able to get a hold of me. And I just thank you for having me, Al. And I just want to thank all the people who support me. Just all the help I've had over the years. I couldn't sit here where I am sitting. This is not a one-man show. I mean, it sort of is, but it's really not. Because I've had a lot of influences over the last few years that have came in at the right time and the right, just the right people to. I truly believe that if you grow this plant with love, then that's what you're going to get back. And if you grow it for money and greed, well, good luck to you. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, that was
just,
People would ask people would ask me what's the difference between medicinal and recreational cannabis, and I would say one's grown for love. That's the matter.
Grown with love, man. Hand watered, hand trimmed, daily inspections. Like, they're using robots and cameras in legal LPs. Like, it's just. Anyhow, I'm not even going to get into it.
All right, you guys.
There's a lot.
You've got to go.
For legal LPs. So, or not DGs. Like, there are so many patients in need of DGs right now. That's a lot for a lot of patients.
Yeah, I think the DG program's on the way out, but that's for another show because we got to go.
Sure.
All right, you'll find us at paceradio.net, paceradioshow.com. Don't forget, join us next week with our special guest, as well as, let's see, tomorrow, catch some Canadian cannabis news that we're not seeing a lot of on Facebook these days, but you can catch some tomorrow with myself and Glenn Prentice. We'll be talking some cannabis news for sure. Other than that, thanks to Legacy420.com, Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, and a big thank you to our guest, Jason Louvelle of Tribal Gardens. I really appreciate you coming on, telling us your story. It's an incredible story. I'm most certainly going to have you come back because there's a lot more that we can talk about. That's for sure.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
It was nice to meet you.
See you all soon.
Well.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.